Welcome back to another podcast, guys. I'm your host, Sean Morey, and you're listening to Journey to the Hills. I'm joined by the one and only Mikey Kass.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mikey, if you just want to introduce yourself, if they don't know, are you ready and just shout out your socials and stuff like that, and then we'll hop
Yeah,
right into
man.
it.
I'm not gonna plug myself too much, but if you see my name, if feel free to look it up. But been in e-commerce for about 4 years now, drop shipping, basically for 4 years. And all I'll say is, I know the name of this podcast is Journey to the Hills, and literally, like, I just want to say before I get this started, the Hills was the freaking mission. Anyone in my high school knew me as like Mr. Hollywood Hills before I
Exactly.
even like I was a freshman and everyone's like, "Yo, Mikey Hollywood Hills," like even before I moved there. So, and I'm not necessarily before you get this podcast started, it's not necessarily about living in the hills, of Los Angeles, but
It's
it's the
just
grind, the
exactly.
person you need to become because the habits that I have today are not the same habits I have before I lived in the hills. So, it's
Got
all
it.
about transforming your life and just living in LA, LA being the mission, the hills being the mission is just part of it. So let's freaking get it,
It's
bro.
all the lifestyle.
Yeah, it's the
Just set up.
lifestyle.
The Hills is not necessarily just Hollywood Hills. It's just that prestige that you like everyone's trying to get to.
Yeah, it's like it's a symbolism for like the good life, the person you have to become. The
Exactly.
people
You
the
call them good
people that
life.
live there, my neighbors, my neighbors inspire me. So, anyways, let's get this going, bro.
Let's get this podcast rolling. So, I know you were on Scott's podcast and you kind of explained your story. I don't think we want to go too like that long on the story and whatever because I got other
Yeah,
stuff to talk about. But
true.
if you just want to like go over your story for like 15, 20 minutes and I'll just ask as long as you go, like just try to plug in different things that you didn't say, like you haven't
Okay.
mentioned yet, and I'll just ask questions based upon that.
Okay, perfect. Long story short, in short form, maybe being 10, 20 minutes, we'll see what we can do, is 15 years old, got like 9 million views in YouTube in like a month or two, made like 10K from it. I know my
Off the clown
CPMs were kind of
videos.
shit. Yeah, off the
Yeah.
clown videos. So bought a boosted board, a drone, and then I also bought Ty Lopez's course because I got hit with his ad here in my garage after making that money because I was obviously in like the internet marketing game all of a sudden
Genius
because
on them ads.
AdSense. So it got targeted, and that thing changed my life. Got me into social media marketing, and I remember that was my first time that like my parents were chill with me making money from YouTube, and my mom had no problem signing me up with AdSense. But
Mhm.
when it came to buying Ty Lopez's course, she's like, "Oh, this is like a scam." But like I forced her, like I was like, this is my money, like this is my passion. And I was like 15 at the time. Ty be finessing the 15-year-olds too for 697. Not playing, but um, yeah, so I bought his course and like I was calling up everybody, but I was like, I was 15 years old and like, sure, you can make it work, but I didn't have that true entrepreneurial mindset that,
Yeah.
Hollywood Hills resident has now. I'm just playing. Uh, but nah, but for real. So I just basically just quit on that, but I was in the game of like learning all about different types of businesses and drop shipping. And, so I basically got into drop shipping. And long story short, like 15, 16 years old, I think at 16, I had my first 10K month selling 3D hoodies. I was advertising with Supreme Patty. Shout out Supreme Patty. Been with him since the come up. Also, shout out Luca Nets, by the way, because he has been too, and I
That's
met
the
them.
wizard.
I mean, obviously, I'm friends with him now, but like even right when
Yeah.
he first started blowing up with Patty, I met him in LA. It was kind of a
Oh yeah.
coincidence. Yeah, yeah, bro. Back in like 2017 or 18, like back when like they just started coming up, on the grind, making money. So, and like now,
Yeah.
like
Luca's
I'm
just
driving in
a
the hills, like
low key
literally, bro.
legend.
Literally, like I was driving in the hills, bro. Like, and I just see like Luca. It's like crazy because I'm just like even walking in the hills too. I've seen Luca just driving past, and we're homeboys now. But yeah. So, anyways, did that 10K month. My mom was pretty chill about it. She made me have like a meeting with like a lawyer or something. Because like they want to
Mm.
make sure I'm doing this all correct. And before I also get into the story, I want to say nothing was actually beef in this between me and my parents. It was more of just like kind of like a funny thing that like my parents just wanted, very typical. They wanted me to, go to school,
Stay
all
in
this, and
school.
they knew like I was always that
The safe
troublemaker,
route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was always that troublemaker. So they were just always, worried for me. Like even when I moved to LA and I had like cops and stuff looking for me.
Same thing with
I
my
mean, like
mom. It's just a
exactly,
parents thing. Yeah.
exactly. Like who wouldn't be worried? Like a 17-year-old,
Exactly.
18, about to turn 19 now. But yeah, so did that 10K month. basically for 3, 4 more months, didn't make any money until I paid my boy Abe at online on Instagram for mentorship. Paid him $500, and then my mom found out because I was doing business under her, and then she basically like sent this whole thing to Abe, and then she's like, Abe, like you finessed
Better
my kid
refund them.
out of yeah $500 for a fake scam mentorship, and then I basically like she charged back or something, and then Abe was like, bro, what? And then he actually gave me a winning product. He's like, yo, test this out, and I started making money from it. I was doing like a couple $100 a day. It only lasted like 2, 3 weeks, but then I convinced
But
my
I mean,
mom,
it's
like, yo, look, this mentorship's like worth it and everything like that. And then basically she, got rid of the dispute or the case or whatever, sent it back to him. And then we were chilling. It died out. Didn't have any more success for a couple more months. And I think this was, sorry, oh shit. Sorry, my bad. Um, and then I think I didn't have any more success until May of 2018, I believe, the summer of
hmm
2018, May. I was in high school. It was 2 weeks before, or sorry, a month before finals, and
What grade
my
were you in
boy,
at that?
I was like, I
A
was
junior?
in 11th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
was in
Got
11th.
Okay.
Um, or it was like yeah 11th grade, and basically my boy hit me up and he's like, yo, I have this product, I'm spending $100 a day on ads in a group chat, but I'm making like 1500 in he was making like $1,500 a day off like $100 ad spend, like crazy ROAS. And obviously it was a while ago, there wasn't, I mean, there was still a lot of
There
competition,
is
but
not that competition. Yeah. Yeah. Not
yeah,
like
yeah,
today's
I mean,
standards.
you
Yeah.
can still get, those numbers, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, with perfect
um
targeting and stuff. Yeah. But
yeah,
it's not
but
what it used to be.
exactly. But he just yeah, so we basically, I was like, yeah, bro, like I know how to do ads. I was basically like capping to him.
hmm
And I basically got that opportunity and we scaled that store to like 30K in a week. Or we were doing about like 4K a day, so I think 30K in like 2 weeks or something. I remember it was
That's
like from May
crazy.
1st to the 16th. We
Yeah.
did like 30K and it was going into my mom's bank account. And obviously she was like, I don't have a good feeling about this. And like she kept looking at the product description and she's like, oh, add this to the product description, make it like this, like always wanting to almost like shut it down because she saw like I was grinding. I was probably like 2 years in at this point, or like a
hmm
year in, like 2 years, and she
It
saw it
was like
starting to
taking
work,
your
and she got
focus
kind
off
of
school
scared.
and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, bro, because it was Journey
Yeah.
to the
Exactly with
Hills,
my mom.
and my
But I mean,
parents
it's just
knew.
embarrassing.
Exactly, bro. Like it was a journey to the hills, and my parents knew because I literally wrote it on the wall, Hollywood Hills, and I also wrote 1600 Vine Street, because that was my original plan when I first moved to LA. But I basically just went straight to the motherfucking hills, baby. Dude, see how I
Straight
get
to
all
the
hyper all of
hills.
a sudden? I get super
Exactly.
hyper when I talk about things that I'm hyped about. This is like my passion, so I got to
Yeah, we
slow
got to
down a
talk
little
about
bit,
the hype stuff. I mean, yeah.
bro.
So, I guess do you still have like struggles with your parents? You guys cool and stuff now?
No, no, we're chilling. It was the only thing was like when I was 17. The big thing is
Oh, it was
like
when
I
that
moved to
whole thing came
LA.
up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I moved to LA without like kind of telling them, or like they didn't know I was really moving to LA. But
Mhm.
yeah, I was chilling. Right when I turned 18, we went to Puerto Rico with them and like my aunt, cousin, grandma, and all that stuff. So yeah, we're chilling now. I'm 18, turning 19 in like a week or two. So I'm basically free to do whatever I'm free to
Yeah,
do whatever
last
I
year on your
want.
birthday, you climbed the Hollywood sign, right?
Correct, bro. It was in the
Yeah,
freaking hills, baby.
in the hills.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you before like e-commerce and that whole entrepreneurship, what was your like main goal? Like, what was your plan after high school? Like, what did you want to do before this whole stuff
It's a
happened?
good question, bro. So, I mean, on a bigger scale of things, looking at the
Yeah,
life, I always knew like I wanted to do something for sure. I wasn't gonna be. This is like
something
probably
big,
when I was around six,
not the
7 years
average Joe.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Like I knew I wanted to do something, not in like a high ego way, but like I wanted to be a pro skater, um, or like, and then after being a pro skater, because I've been skating my whole life, I kind of wanted to be like a movie producer or like a music video producer. And then after that, I was low key on some corporate shit. I started building drones, and I was like, oh, I want to be an engineer and go to MIT. But that was only for like a year or two. And then after that is like when I wanted to become a YouTuber. I wanted to become like a YouTuber, like an online personality in a sense. Um, yeah, basically like an online personality. And then from there, it went to more of like a business type. And then I slowly got into like I wanted to be a YouTuber, and then it got into business. And
got
yeah,
it.
it's basically
So it
kind
was
of
just a mix of
fluctuating.
things, but it was always kind of
Mainly
leaning to that
fluctuating from sort of
entrepreneurial
like,
path.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I never
Yeah,
saw myself as like, dude, I'm gonna
a
be a
nine to
corporate
five.
data financial analyst at like fucking Oracle.
Yeah,
So
making 60 grand a year, staring at a computer in a cubicle all day.
for real,
No
couldn't
bueno.
pay me even if it was 100K a month doing that.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I guess it's kind of just taught down to like live that kind of lifestyle. I don't know how people do it, but
Honestly,
that's them.
bro, it's whether even if it's a cubicle in these 10 years or something, there's always going to be a norm. And it's like, as a society, we can't necessarily get rid of a norm, right? Because there has to be some sort of normal, and the
Oh
human
yeah,
brain
for sure.
naturally
If
drifts
there's no
over to.
normal, then everyone's gonna be exceptional.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not blaming.
Oh no, for sure.
I used to kind of like not judge, but like I always used to try to persuade people and try to persuade,
I had
you
that
know,
phase with my
friends,
parents for sure.
family,
Yeah,
whatever. Like, dude, why don't you guys just become entrepreneur? Or my parents do have some entrepreneur things, but like other people, but it's just I realize like true successful people, they're content, like they're secure with who they are, and I don't go out of my way to try to bash anyone's ambitions. I realize everyone's different, everyone's on their own
oh yeah,
grind, and the real, boss shit to do is just be on your own grind, focus on yourself. Um, but obviously, if you see someone going down a negative path, then you can go ahead and help them.
definitely help
But you
them.
don't ever
Yeah,
want to drag a man by his feet. So
yeah. Do you want to talk
yeah,
about the run? How with the planes and private investigators and stuff? Do you want to go over that a little bit?
yeah, bro. So basically, back to the 30K in like 2 weeks or whatever.
Hmm.
Obviously, my mom was like super picky. This is around the time we met the lawyers, also, just to like make sure the website's compliant. Or I don't even know why we went, honestly. It was in Bressie Ranch in Carlsbad, if you guys know where that is. Bressie Ranch. They literally had the lawyers, or I went to some lawyer office in Palomar. But yeah, basically went there. And then a week later, my mom's like, I don't have a good feeling about this, like, because I think I was ordering a lot of stock, right? I was ordering a lot of product, and it cost like
Hmm.
we put like $5,000 on my mom card because they blocked our business card for whatever reason, because I guess it was a new account, a lot of spending, so they like blocked the payment. So I think Alipay did, like on the AliExpress side of things, because I was using
Yeah.
AliExpress to pay my supplier. Um, and then so my mom's like, there's money now going to a personal account, and I had to charge her personal and like wire 5K. And she's like, I don't have a good feeling about this. I think you should just focus on school, buddy. Cubicle life is for you. Now, she didn't necessarily say that, but like she was like, you got to focus on school. You got to be realistic. This is like you're only 16 or 17, I think I was at the time. Or no, this is like 16, I think, something like that, because my birthday would be in like
Around
a
that
month or
time.
two. Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyways, she shut it down, refunded 30 bands in the bank.
Jeez.
Shout out Chase Bank, but she refunded it. But at the end of the day, like it was a skill that I acquired, scaling those ads and doing that. So I wasn't really pissed. And she basically did that, but I still had the card that she gave me with 5 bands on it. I don't know how I'm saying bands, but see, I'm just getting very hyped. I gotta slow down. People always think I'm
Stay hype.
on people think I'm always on like Adderall and stuff. I've never done Adderall, or I've never done it, but like I
Nah,
don't know.
he's just on 8 bangs a day.
I just get hyped when I talk about this, but yeah, essentially, I was like, dude, screw this. She just shut it down. I have my best friend Isaiah, um, in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We were on the come up on YouTube together. This is like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, or probably like 5 years ago. Um, and he's the one, how we made like 10K in a month. He made like 15K or
Oh, he
something
was with
in
the
a month.
con videos, huh?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So he started that too, and we started drop shipping together. I was like, "Yo, bro, I saw this ad from this guy called Ty Lopez," and then we started the grind together. We basically selling iPhone case, basically trapping iPhone cases on Alibaba. Um, but yeah, we basically just did that, and I was like, "Dude, we've never met before. We met online, right?" Um, and what's it called? Sorry, my brain is like racing through a million thoughts. I'm just so hyped over this, but
Stay hype. Should
shit.
change
Wait,
them.
where was I even at, bro?
You were
Oh yeah,
at
yeah, yeah. I basically
yeah
told
with your
Isaiah, I was like,
friend.
dude, my mom just refunded all this. My business partner was like, dude, he was like freaking out. Or he was not like freaking out, but he's like, yo, what is your mom doing? And like, obviously, I don't blame her. She wanted me to focus on school. And then my business partner, he was like 16 too at the time. His mom was like, yeah, it's kind of like crazy, I guess. Like, you guys deal with it. So I was like, dude, I got 5K on this card, and I have this literally recorded on a GoPro on video. And I literally booked it off of Expedia, or actually Delta.com. I booked a flight, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna go see you in Grand Rapids. I'm not gonna tell my mom. I'm not gonna tell my dad. I literally have finals. It was like a Saturday, I think. And we had finals starting on Monday, because this is like May or like June at this point,
Yeah,
actually, because
final
the floor is
season.
running a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. So final
basically
season was
hell.
coming up, and then I basically just booked the flight. I went and I told my mom like, "Yo, I'm at a birthday party, so I'm gonna be gone for the whole day." And she bought like a card and everything. And I was using a high school checking account on my Uber account because I used to like Uber home from school because my parents would be at
Hmm.
work, grinding. And then she basically saw like it gave like an alert because I had an alert on my high school checking account if it went below $50 because I would just keep like $50 on it. My mom would just like refill it if I needed food or something. And she saw an
Yeah.
alert and it went down like $40 or something. And she's like, "Oh," or there was like a charge for $40 on an Uber from my house in Carlsbad, California to downtown San
It
Diego.
doesn't take $40 to go home.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, "Yo, it doesn't take $40 to get
Red
to
flag.
his house. I know where he lives." And then I was like, "Nah, like it's like an Uber surge, and the price increases 2.5 times." They weren't buying it. They're basically like calling me in the Uber as it's going to the airport, and I was trying to downplay it so the Uber driver wouldn't be like sus. My mom was like, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" Like I was like, "Nah, I'm going to the birthday. Don't worry." And then low key, I just told my parents. I was like, now both my parents were on it. I was just like, yeah, I'm actually going to an e-commerce convention in downtown San Diego. Like, I know you guys don't really like e-commerce because like obviously what just happened like last week. You guys shut it down, refunded all the customers with Stripe and PayPal. Um, and then they're like, yeah, we would have supported you. It's fine. You could have just told us, and we would have driven you. And then for some reason, my dad still wasn't buying it. So he basically, I think they like called up Uber or something. All I remember is I removed my SIM card at one point because my parents could like track me and stuff through my SIM. So I removed my SIM card because I was still on like a family plan. So I removed my SIM card at one point, but I also connected to the airport Wi-Fi. But I think the last thing, yeah, this is it. The last thing I remember, or the last message that I got before I removed my SIM card, was a photo of like I don't know how they got it, but I think they called up Uber, and it was like a screenshot of my location or a location of the Uber, and it was right in front of the airport, and like one of the
Uh,
terminals. And they're like, "What are you doing at the airport? Like, we're gonna call cops. We're gonna find you." Basically went through security without any Wi-Fi. Right when I got to my gate, I turned on Wi-Fi. Um, and I think I might have turned on my SIM card too. I'm not too sure because basically it was like, oh, the cops are coming to our house, and the last text I got was like, because it was a green text. I remember that. So I like obviously I would have had to have my SIM card. I think I plugged it in right before I went on my flight just to see if I
mhm.
got any last messages, and it was like. This is the Carlsbad, like where I'm from. This is the Carlsbad Police Department. Where are you? And I didn't respond.
Damn, they didn't have iPhones.
Literally, yeah, I guess, buddy from an airport or something. No, I'm playing, but it's all good. And then yeah, literally, I took off on that freaking 787 Boeing, baby. I was in the sky, and yeah, right when I landed, they said on the intercom, like usually the guys talking stuff, so I wasn't really too worried.
Mhm.
But he was like, um, he was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a customer assistance. Like, if everyone can stay seated when we pull up to the gate, that'd be great." Literally, two cops come on board, and I was like, "Okay." I didn't really think too much of it, and I was sitting in like 13A, I believe. I remember 13A. It was like a
Mhm.
window seat, and I was next to some old dude, but there was like middle seat was empty. They walked straight past me, the cops, two cops, and then they went all the way to the back of the plane. And I was like, "Phew, I'm so good," or like I'm chilling, nothing to worry about. Journey to the hills, baby. I'm gonna be in the hills soon. Um, and then basically the freaking flight attendant lady was like, "Oh, officers, he's sitting right here." And they basically got me, and they're like, "Come
Damn,
with
she
us." They
ratted
took me
you out.
yeah, literally, they took me onto the sky bridge, and then she's like, "Is your name John something?" Or like she gave like a wrong name, and I was like, "No," and then I was like, she's like, "What's your name?" And I told my name, so I think it was like a way of like testing like what my name actually is.
Yeah.
Some psychological trick. So they basically did that. They got me, and then they took me onto the tarmac of the airport. And there was like two cop cars waiting out there for like one for each of the cops. They basically it was like
Mhm.
right beside the plane, and they literally dragged me on or put me in the cop car, drove me to the police station in the Atlanta airport, Hartsfield Jackson. I met my aunt because that was my connect. Sorry, that was my connection. It was in Atlanta, and I strategically did that. There were no direct flights from San Diego to Grand Rapids, so I
Just
strategically
in
did it
case.
just to know, like, yeah, exactly. If my parents were to do something and interfere with this or catch on, then I would have somewhere to
You'd be
go. Because
chilling out,
otherwise,
yeah.
it was going to be in Chicago, I think. And like, where would I stay? Where would cops put me for a night? I'm not trying to go to jail or something. So yeah, they basically did that. I basically just flew back to my house under the agreement that with my dad, they would let me run a Shopify store under my dad's name this time because he was more chill about this business thing and he was fine with
My
me more.
dad's way more chill than my mom.
Yeah,
Complete, like,
exactly,
dude,
exactly.
like night and day difference. But anyways, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, basically did that, came back. under the agreement. I did my finals. I was already at a 0.8 GPA. I think I might have a photo of it somewhere or something. I had a 0.8 GPA in all my classes because I knew I was dedicated to the Hills. Everyone knew me as Mr. Hills in my high school. So shout out Sage Creek High School Bobcats, Carlsbad, California, baby. But yeah, it was Journey to the Hills, and I basically just for like on the Scantrons for all my finals, I just put like A as like all the like so let's say there was like 80 questions, I just put A for all of them, and
A,
then
A, A.
I was failing all my classes, so there's no point. Um, and then basically for my birthday, July 28th. So school
Mhm.
ended like June 16th, and then I guess my dad was like, "Oh yeah, like for your birthday, July 28th, you'll get an LLC." It's kind of funny because I got a fucking LLC for my birthday,
For your
but
birthday.
yeah. So got my LLC like a month later, month and a half later for my birthday, ran it up to like 50K in 2 weeks. We got like a chargeback, and I was using Wells Fargo Merchant Services. They sent a letter in the mail to my house. My mom read the domain, and technically she's my mom. She called up Shopify. She was against this because they knew I was going to move to LA, and I wasn't going to go to college like everyone else. And my parents were like, "Why don't you just be like everyone else?" Once like my parents were like under the impression of like once again, no beef or anything. It's just how mass thinking unfortunately is, and obviously they're my parents. I'm not going to betray them or anything, but sometimes
Mhm.
you gotta listen to other people other than your parents. And my parents are more understanding of it now, but they're like, oh, like when you're not making any, when you are like a high school dropout and you're not making any money, or like even if you just don't have a college degree or a high school
Mhm.
diploma, none of your friends are going to talk to you. And obviously, I still talk to them. They literally come to my parties in the hills, but they're like, no one's going to talk to you and stuff like that. So my mom called up Shopify, shut down the store. Basically, once the store shut down, I had a whole bunch of unfulfilled orders, a whole bunch of people charged back. My dad thought I was running a freaking Ponzi scheme. He was like, "You little Mikey Belfort, what are you fucking doing?" Um, and then I basically changed that LLC. I called up LegalZoom. I got a new operating agreement to change it under my friend who is 18 or who was 18 at the time. Now we're both above the age of 18. But basically started running it up under my friend. A couple months later, I got a payment processor that was going to accept me because I was on a banned payment processor list due to what happened with my parents, and I got a whole bunch of chargebacks with unfulfilled orders. Ran it up to like 600K in 4 months. I told my parents, "Hey, I'm making 100K a month. I'm moving to the freaking hills, baby." Because this guy on Instagram was
100K
like
profit or 100K sales?
100K gross. I was doing like under and over 100K, just 100K average.
What was
Um,
profit margins?
like
Like 30?
not 35 to 50. It was like
Oh,
even
that's good.
55 some days. Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
good. Um, Honestly, yeah, long story short, I slowly started doing the things I was dreaming of. It really popped off February. I think it was February 16th. It was literally while everyone was in school. It was supposed to be my senior year. I went to a charter high school, but I slowly started ditching. I literally finally got my license because my
Mhm.
parents knew I was going to drive to LA every single day if I got my license at 16. Because I literally
Mhm.
told them that while I was in high school. I was like, I was going to ditch high school and just drive to LA. So I got my license at 17, like a year and a half later. And I was literally halfway driving to charter school. And one day I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this bullshit. This is some stupid ass shit. Because especially in the charter school, it's not the brightest people there. And I was basically like, what am I doing here? I think at this point I was either making money or no, I wasn't making money at this point. Like literally, like I was so confident in my goals and myself and my dreams that I'm not saying this is the necessarily the smartest thing to do, but I wasn't making any money. But I was one day literally driving. I was right by
Sent
um,
it.
this resort in Carlsbad, and I'm like, you know what, fuck this shit. Made a U-turn, went back to my house, and that was the last day I went to school. I mean, technically, I guess the day before was, the last day I went to school, but basically did that. My Shopify store started popping off, and I was so close to LA. I was 100 miles away from LA, so I would occasionally I would make trips up there, and then I would get like an Airbnb in the hills. And once again, I'm not necessarily saying like this stuff is like,
It's just
the
the
things you should
smartest thing to
strive
do, but
for. Yeah, I'm not saying it's the things you
yeah,
should strive for, but I was having fun. I was
it's
finally
definitely
doing some
something
things
to
that
do.
yeah, I was dreaming of. And then May comes around, my boy posts on Instagram, yeah, who's trying to get this house in the hills. I got the lease. I just need another roommate. And I was like, bro, I'm down. Wired him the money. I moved. I told my parents I'm making 100K a month now. Just doing business. I'm still doing it. I'm not doing it under you guys. Don't worry. But I'm making 100K a month. I don't know if you hear that. I'm currently in Turkey, Istanbul. If you're watching this, so there's some crazy people like partying, I guess. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
I told them making 100K a month. I'm moving to LA next week or in like 2 weeks. They didn't believe me. They thought I was lying. So I literally just packed my bags up, got an Uber from San Diego, literally within like 2, 3 day time, like window or whatever, and moved to LA. My parents didn't believe me. I think I moved on a Friday. My dad was like, by Sunday, we're gonna have you with cops and we're gonna take you back. Because I mean, trust me, any parent would do this, and I'm not. They're not bad parents. They're good parents for doing this. Because any
Oh no,
17-year-old, and I was,
yeah,
I was,
any
yeah,
parent
I
would
was
do that.
always the one. I was always the one is like known as the troublemaker. Like think about it. I dropped out of high school. I was like, I was
Oh
a
yeah,
troublemaker,
it's
and I'm
just
always doing crazy shit, like climb the Hollywood sign. So they were like, the only way we're gonna possibly find you is if we call the cops or something. Like we need to get you. But like, I wasn't trying to do it to diss them or anything. It was genuinely just
disrespect.
my
Yeah,
dream. Exactly, because I came this far, bro. I dropped out of high school for literally
yeah. A
like
lot of people.
from sophomore to junior year. My GPA is complete trash. There's no going back with that. I'm so far into my future and my dreams and like stuff that I actually want to do for me to like go
You
back
can't
down the
turn back at
corporate
that point.
route. Like I just I'm unfortunately, you guys are my parents, but I can't listen to you right now. I can't
Hello.
become the engineer you guys want me to be. I can't become the
Yo.
doctor you want me to be because I'm just so far, you know. This is like literally my dream. But I might feel like very high pressure situation right now, but don't worry. In a couple years, when I'm 20, 25, 30, you're gonna look back on this and like you're gonna be fine. You're gonna understand that this is the hustle, baby, and I'm on stage. Thank you for the freaking Grammy. No, I'm playing, but no, but for real, that was basically my mentality. I was like, you might hate me now for doing this, but I think you're yeah, no, you're good.
It just cut out. Yeah, it cut out for like a solid 30 seconds. Wi-Fi in Mexico, garbage.
Yeah, you're all good, bro. Is it recording?
Yeah, yeah, it's still going. I didn't stop it.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, can you
yeah.
hear me
So
or?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Okay, good,
basically,
good.
yeah. So basically, essentially, yeah, I just moved, and that was the thing. And they said by Sunday we're gonna have cops at the house pick you up, take you back to San Diego. You're gonna finish up high school, but I didn't. What's it called? I never want. They never caught me. Essentially, I didn't post on social media where I'm at. I removed my SIM card and everything. And yeah, basically that was it for the next couple months. Long
That's the
story short,
story.
sometimes I was going through airports. I went to visit my boy Ishan in Phoenix, and cops got me when I was. And then basically they like made sure I got onto my flight back to LA. My parents were gonna meet me with other cops. My flight landed like 10 minutes early. No cops saw
You
me, and
dipped.
yeah, and basically I just dipped back to the motherfucking hills.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would just like completely give up and stop after like two of those things happen. Like after
Yeah,
like your parents start deterring them, and I mean, it's all persistency, and you basically made it to the hills because you stayed persistent. You didn't let that thing get in your way.
exactly,
So
bro.
yeah,
It's
all right.
I always looked at it as like a story, bro. It's always the hustle. And like over this podcast, I'm saying some things that just like I try to like make it funny, I guess. But like at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it's like you have to look at your
It's a
story. You
grind.
have to look at your life as like a story. And by the time you're 30, 40, 50, um, you'll be able to tell this badass story. Like when my mom refunded $30,000 worth of orders in gross sales, I wasn't necessarily pissed because now I can look back. I'm turning 19 in like a week or two, and I can be like, I can tell you this crazy story now over this podcast. You wouldn't interview me for this podcast if my story was boring. Especially, I'm only 18 turning 19. Now imagine once I'm 30, 40, 50.
You're
So
not
that's
even
why
like a
creating a
fifth done
story.
with your life.
Exactly, but I'm still creating a
Yeah,
story. So that's why I don't look at anything as bad. I was just telling a guy over a call earlier.
it's
He's
just
like,
like a
"Man,
book. How
I
good's your
feel
book
like
gonna
my
be?
life is so bad. Like my car keeps breaking down." I'm like, "Bro, that's a story. This is a story that you can say that you came from this position, you came from here. Like you want to be
It's a
born
good
rich,
stat.
and then you want to tell a story like that. Like have fun getting anyone's interest or appealing to anyone when there's no peaks and valleys within your story. You know."
Yeah.
So
All right. I mean, that's probably the best story you'll ever hear about. The grind to the
that's
hills.
just a little bit of it too.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys definitely want to go like hear the whole story, there's an hour and a half podcast with Scott Helsey. If you guys want to check that out, amazing podcast,
Exactly.
by the way.
Yes,
So
sir.
I guess now I'm just gonna ask you just like some questions and stuff, and towards the end, if you have any questions for me, just ask them then, and then yeah, that should end it off. I got a lot of questions though.
So
All
hey,
right.
you want me to? Yes, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
All right, perfect,
You ready?
bro.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, what's your opinion on momentary happiness and like people drinking all day and like they don't do anything productive compared to I guess just fulfilling happiness,
Okay.
like studying,
Um,
reading, and working and stuff like that.
yeah, so I had a video on this in my course, and I'm not like a neuroscientist.
Hmm.
So there's a thing called dopamine versus serotonin. Dopamine's released anytime, I guess, you're drinking. I guess like some of the memories you can have while you're drinking, getting
Hmm.
high, doing drugs, eating junk food, doing a lot of, momentary happiness essentially.
Yeah,
But what you're doing is you should be striving for like serotonin more. Like once again, I'm not a neuroscientist.
longevity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's more like true long-term fulfilling happiness, rather than chasing momentary highs and then followed by deep valleys. You're only digging yourself deeper into a hole because you're momentarily making yourself happy. You should, you know, do like a little dopamine detox essentially, and focus on like creating businesses and stuff like that, creating good relationships with people that are fulfilling and bring true happiness. So, I mean, there was also a quote by one by Buddhists. Their definition is the end of suffering is enlightenment. So, the moment you stop all the suffering and in this momentary happiness is, the moment you're enlightened. Because eventually, in the long term, you're going to be suffering by chasing this momentary happiness. And I'm not necessarily the one that, found out about like this whole paradigm. I don't know like how to say it, but like I'm not the one who found out about it, but like
hmm,
it's definitely made me rethink a lot of my decisions. And it's like that junk food, this, that. Like, am I going for momentary
longevity.
happiness or am I going to,
Got to think of the long term.
long term fulfilling happiness?
Yeah. All right. So the next question is: I remember saying you used to like, kind of like you, like agency work, like SMM. Do you still like? Did you ever pursue that? Like, I know you made the cards and stuff like that. Did you
Yeah.
ever go through with that or no?
I did, but nah. I always called people and they're like, "Yeah, call me back next week," and this, but nah, I never signed a client. And
Got it.
yeah, I mean, I tried though for a couple months for sure.
What are your thoughts on like kind of a Shopify question, but what are your thoughts on like the layout of a store? Do you like general stores, one product, and niche stores, and like do you ever like elevate and do two different types of stores?
Personally, I like general, especially when testing,
Mhm.
because rather than a one product store where you have to get a new domain, new logo, and
New
new
store,
branding, essentially,
yeah,
every time you want to test a new product with a
you could
or
just
with a
go
general
into one store.
store, as long as you make it look clean and stuff like that, you make it look like a legit retailer. You're free to test any product you want. You can literally test the very next day. You know, especially as a beginner when you don't really know how to do a lot of graphic design and necessarily can afford buying new domains, doing all this work every single day. I think it's way more effective doing a general store. But once
After you
again,
find a winner,
to
you
each is
start
their
like a
own,
one product. Yeah, yeah.
I would go
After
for a
a
niche store. I would go for a
niche
niche
store,
store
okay.
just because you
Upsells.
can yeah, exactly, upsells people visit your website and stuff. I don't think one product stores. I mean, I guess they're built to convert, maybe have a higher conversion rate. Once again, maybe has a higher conversion rate, but it's not built to maximize profits.
Got it.
Or like repeating customers at least.
Who and what made you pursue entrepreneurship?
It's a good question, bro. Myself, Ty Lopez, basically just following people on Instagram. Alan Maman was a big inspiration to me. Like, shout out Alan Maman. You can search him up at MAMAN on Instagram. It was just him, just like random people on Instagram, bro. Shaheen Safai was a great inspiration to me. He's in LA. He has his own gym, Shaheen Safai. There's tons of people, bro. The Weekend, obviously, I owe it to him, bro. Cali is the mission, The Weekend. Um, Once again, Ty Lopez, Jake Paul, even FouseyTube a little bit back in my days. Don't roast me, but there's so many different people. You can just see who I'm following on Instagram, and it's like if they look like a goat, then I probably looked up to them. Or maybe not look
Got
like a
it.
goat, but like there's definitely like a lot of people, and it was a lot of like Instagram things.
Mhm.
Just like looking at the photos necessarily of like
What's
that's the
possible and
life.
stuff.
Yeah, that's the life I want to live one day. And like maybe behind this whole Instagram facade, they're not living that life. But with a
But
lot of this
still,
lifestyle comes like
mhm,
it's gonna get me to that level. It's like, so what
mhm,
if like they're not living that life behind this, but like it's gonna get me to that level where it's like, damn, bro, they're freaking ripped, they're eating good, healthy foods. It's like rather than just me being a bum, it's motivating me to better myself, create businesses, and like grind, essentially become a better version of myself, higher value. So that's
mhm.
the biggest thing we can do as a person: increase your value, increase your skill set, increase the things you have to
Definitely can't
offer.
agree more. Yeah.
So
What do you think the importance of connections are and how they come into play and stuff like that? like
I
building
think
connections
I think I think connections are important, but you don't want to be caught up in creating too many connections with just
in
anyone,
just connections.
because just like life, if you go by
Mhm.
the masses, it's not necessarily true. So I I I mean, yeah, networking is good, but I never go out to like networking events, and I'm not like a networking professional, right? So I'm still down to learn by like a someone who has more connections than me on how to do
Mhm.
this. I'm not a god at this, but like I've met a decent amount of cool people in LA, and it's just like I usually meet them by friends of friends, and when I have a place in the hills, I can host events, parties, I can host people, and I have like I think just like having a place, like having your own, that was like a motivation for me, I guess. I mean, I was so young. I was 17 when I first moved out, but it's having your own place where you can host people, and I've hosted parties and I met so many different people there, and if people, like, I have friends of friends. I met Splash Man, for example, through Fez. So he Splash Man stayed at the house for like a week or something, and Splash Man's like a great guy that, like, I
Yeah, I
really look
watched
up
and
to.
listened to his
So
podcast. He got some good knowledge in them. Very.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll jump into the next one. What was your absolute rock bottom point, and why did you keep pursuing the journey to the hills? And like after you had all odds against you and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, my rock bottom point, I looked at it as like, is this really the rock bottom? Like, at the end of the day, I had a roof over my head. I had
Hmm.
a family that was giving me food, protection, anything that I needed. So that's why I knew everything was like a video game to me. I didn't really like, this is the time I, quote unquote, need to go broke. Um, and this is the time I need to get drop shipping to work. So I never really had a rock bottom. Maybe it's like if I owed Facebook like $50, my bank account was like negative $50. My friend Hagen lended me like 300, and that was really when we took the business to the next level. Maybe it got kind of like, damn, I feel like everything's against me when like Facebook ads was banning me. I couldn't use Stripe. I couldn't find a payment processor. My parents hated this business. Um, no one really supported it, but then again, I looked at it from a different perspective of like, dude, this is a freaking hustle, bro. Everything's against me. Like, I can't wait for literally a time like this. I think it's like July 15th, 2020, where I'm on an interview with Sean, and I can now tell you the story. So I never looked at it in a bad way. I was like, I'm digging myself in such a deep hole. My GPA is so shit right now, 0.8, just so that moment that I come on top, I can tell this story. So
The teller.
it got me hyped. I didn't want to do it like as a self-fulfilling prophecy of, digging myself deeper in a hole of a shitty GPA and a position where I couldn't run my business or do anything like that. But I knew like it was up to me, basically. Like, you're the master of your own fate. um and I believe you're the master of your own fate. So it's like it's up to me to become successful, and I know it's not like when I become or if I become successful, but when. And I know I was going to become successful, so I basically just wanted to say, like, I went through that. So nothing was a rock bottom, bro. I think it's all perspective. And I don't know, my brain's
All
just wired in a
perspective. The whole
way.
game.
Yeah, my brain's just wired in a way where it's like, I don't know, I don't really like stress over shit like that.
That's such a good mindset.
Yeah.
Definitely. Um, okay, the next one. What was your first product that you ever drop shipped?
Like Supreme, or not necessarily Supreme, but like hypebeast iPhone cases in general. I had a Supreme influencer page called Supreme Dropshop. It sadly got disabled at like sorry, like 70K followers, but I was basically just promoting it on there. Oh shit, no, actually the first one I got a sale on was a fidget spinner store. It was called Fidget Fun, FIDGITFUN.com. And I remember I was flying my drone, and I got a notification on my phone. It was like, Fidget Fun has a new order totaling for like 9.99, and yeah, it was freaking dope.
Yeah, I mean, the first sale is definitely a eye-opening experience for sure.
Yeah, it was so hectic though, because I was like flying my drone, and like, and then my friend's parent like pulled up and was like saying what's up. So it was like I didn't like freak out too much. I was like, no, that's dope. I just got a sale.
So, out of I guess the first original members in that, I guess I'm saying members in that first Hollywood Hills house was
Yeah.
you, Fez, Scott, and Sebas, right? Whose
No, no.
idea?
I
Who
was
was
already
it?
living in the hills before that.
Oh no, no, yeah, but the one with Fez in
Oh
them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Fez.
whose idea was it for the house?
Uh, I think mine because
Yours?
yeah, mine because what's it called? I was looking for a new house. My lease just ended, and the current house I was in the hills. I didn't really like want to renew that house. I got bored of it, so I was telling Fez, I was like, "Yo, bro, I think we should get a house." Or like, he was telling me he wanted to move to LA like in a couple months, and I was like, "Yeah, bro, like I need to get another house or something." I'm like looking with some friends right now. I was already gonna get one, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, like honestly, like I can get Sebas in on this." And then I knew like Scott like somehow got thrown in the mix. I think I might have told him or something, or he was visiting in LA, visiting me, or just visiting to LA, and we hung out, and I think we came onto the proposition, or we came to the conclusion of like, yeah, I think us four should get a house. So
Yeah, I mean, Fez is a super cool guy.
yeah,
Yeah, everyone in that house was dope. But
yeah,
I
it's
guess
crazy.
now you renewed the lease with some other people I've seen on Instagram. I know one of
Yeah,
them,
the
Sonny
boys,
and Jordan,
yeah, the boys
right?
didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, they liked LA, but I don't know. I guess they didn't like the house for some reason, but I think some of them are coming back to LA. I know Scott wants to come back. Fez and Sabas are coming back, so we'll definitely reunite.
definitely. After you started making money, was there any reason why your parents didn't want you to pursue it, or was it just that whole thing of just the school safety, 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 school?
Safety school. I feel like it's a little bit of like, dang, he's making 5K a day. Like it was more about like they don't want to say it, but I think it's like more of the extravagant lifestyle. It's kind of how people. I'm not saying I'm in the 1%, but I'm saying how the don't hate me for saying this, but like the middle class or upper middle
Hmm.
class and like lower, how they have some sort of subconscious resentment to the upper class, which is my goal. I'm not necessarily saying I'm there, or like I'm not there or anything. I'm staying neutral on that, but it's kind of the resentment of like you have goals. I mean, it's like shutting down anyone's big goals. It's like when you tell your parents, "I
Hmm.
want to become a famous Hollywood actor," when you're younger, but they don't think it's possible, So
There's one quote.
it was
It
kind of
was
like
like,
that. They thought I was wasting my time or something, I guess. So
yeah,
once
there's
again,
one quote I heard.
it's also not my place to judge. I didn't care. I just wanted to get the grind. So what's up with the
You
quote
just
though?
wanted to do you.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was this one quote. It was like, if you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. And I feel like that's definitely really true, especially in today's society with everyone just kind of bunch of
exactly.
sheep, you
The
know.
biggest thing you can do though is just like I never cared about it. It was so irrelevant. Think about this. It was so irrelevant. Other than them shutting down my business, I could still run it under my friend. Everyone else's opinion about this, which tons of people had a lot of different opinions on me on this grind. Um, and the thing is, they're irrelevant, or their opinion was totally irrelevant to what I was doing. So I didn't care. They never got the satisfaction of getting a reaction out of me because I was on my grind. I don't know. I just genuinely didn't care.
You
I was
didn't
like,
care.
because to me it was more of like not scarcity, but it was an urgency thing. I was about to graduate high school in like a year or two. I needed to make this work. So it's like for me to give, like, care about someone's opinion, I would just be a fool. So I just wanted to focus on my grind and just get out of, or get to LA while I can ASAP before I would quote unquote have to go to college. So
Yeah. I mean, I drive up to LA. I'm pretty close. I'm about 60 miles out,
where
55
are you?
miles out of it. I'm Inland Empire, like
I
Orange
bet.
County area.
Oh yeah, I know
Yeah.
Orange County. What's your social security number? No, I'm just playing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh, I mean, do you ever see yourself moving out of LA,
Nah, I
or
mean,
did you just like love
I see
LA?
myself like out of being in LA, like or being out of LA maybe for like a month or two, maybe even
Yeah, but
three,
like
up to
LA's
six
your
months. But
home now,
like
huh?
LA's, yeah, LA's the anchor. Like LA's my city. Like when I come
Yeah,
back and I'm 40 years old, like it's gonna be known LA's my city. So
got it. So I remember mentioning that your dad is a professor. How did it go down when you kind of dropped out?
man, I don't know. They're like their focus. It was like you're gonna be seen as like the high school dropout. You're gonna be like my son's gonna be a high school dropout, I guess. I don't know, dude. They were just like, you don't know what hole you're digging yourself into. I mean, they used to tell me all the time, it's like you're gonna be going nowhere if like this is the path that you're choosing. So, but yeah, they thought I was crazy. I guess they were like, you don't know how damaging this is to your future.
Was it
But
more sudden, or did like he know it was coming?
No, I mean it was like slowly as I started getting more and more into e-commerce. They uh they were like, you gotta, I don't know, like
What did the teachers think of you
the teachers, they were
doing all
curious as to why I was so fucking shit in school, dude.
the
They
point
were
eight
like,
GPA?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, there's always some dumbasses in school. They thought I was just one of those dumbasses, and I'm not
One of
claiming that I
those
wasn't.
dumbasses.
I'm not claiming that I wasn't one of those dumbasses, or I was, but like their opinion of me was like, oh no, he's chill. Like I'd always like make jokes, and they knew I was kind of like trying to get on their nerves a little bit with like some of the things I would do because
Mhm.
I was kind of crazy in class with my friends, but um like dude, I don't even know. I was focused on my grind, bro. They were just like, don't bother. Like, I had a math teacher, Mr. Menente, and he's like, just go to the back of the room and you can go on your phone and you can Photoshop your product page images, but like, don't bother anyone else.
Got it. So, I mean, when did your GPA start to decline? Like, as soon as you got into e-commerce, did you like stop putting effort into school and just like 100% effort into e-commerce? Was that
Say it one
the
more
whole
time.
situation? So, like, when did your like GPA start to like just downfall? Was it like a certain point where you started getting into e-commerce,
Oh, yeah.
or
Um,
yeah?
dang, shit, fuck, my bad. Give me 1 second. I'm checking the Robinhood, bro. See how the gain's looking. Ooh, up 4% today. But um, essentially, like I don't. This is also the reason I wasn't putting my full effort into school is because freshman year I was like in middle school. Sorry, there's like cops or something like nearby. Okay. In middle school, my grades were like decent, but they started to get shitty around eighth grade, especially. I was like C's and B's, but I was like, yo, in high school, I got to get my fucking shit together. I'm only getting A's and I'm only getting B's, So
How
freshman
was
year
it
came
freshman year?
around. I think first I was on a trimester system in my school. I
Mhm.
think I had like a 3.6 GPA or something. So I had like some B's. I had like two A's, three B's, and like two C's or something like that. Um, and that did it. And then, like slowly every single trimester, I kept the same amount of effort and everything. Like
Just
my
decline.
GPA just slowly declined. Like no matter what I tried, and it got to the point it was sophomore or junior year that I would literally sit down with my dad for 3 hours, like every single night, just doing homework and like making sure I understood it. But like I just like I just didn't get it, bro. Like I've sat there for 3 hours, like so many, like my dad can even vouch for this. Like we spent so many hours every single night, like focusing on homework and getting it done. And then like I would go to the test and I would get like 17%. Like it wasn't working for me. I don't know what it
Dude,
was,
chem
dude.
killed me. Off topic, but chemistry. God,
Yeah,
Jesus.
bro. Honestly, I feel like I probably took chemistry in like 11th grade, dude. I took like what you took in second grade in like 12th or 11th grade. Like I don't know.
I
It
don't know.
just wasn't
Freshman year
working
was good
out
for
for
me
me,
though.
bro. Yeah, it wasn't working out. My grades only got worse and my effort stayed the same until around like sophomore, especially junior year. I really stopped giving a
Dude,
fuck.
I'm gonna be honest. I think my effort declined after middle school, and my grades just went up. I don't know how that works out. I'm just thinking, that Apple Watch genius, but I don't know.
Yeah,
No idea.
probably.
But let's find the next question. What's your next major goal that you're working towards?
Interesting. I want to get my own house in the hills and just put my employees in it.
Like buy one or rent one?
Rent.
Because I know rent. Yeah. I mean, I like renting because you can just change it up.
Yeah, and
You're not
um,
stuck to it. It's like 6 months, 1 year.
I want to be putting my money in my businesses where I currently think there's a higher ROI there. Um, so yeah, I mean, a lot of the rich, I'm not necessarily saying like once again I'm rich, but it's like they a lot of them rent. They put their money in their businesses. I want to keep a lot of
Mhm.
liquid cash to invest it in other places. So I mean, one day I'll definitely buy a house when I'm a little older.
After turning 18, how long did you get a credit card after? Like, how long did it take you
Um,
just to get a credit card, start building your credit and stuff?
I think I got it like 2, 3 months after.
Got it.
Yeah,
Why do you think most people fail in e-commerce or just entrepreneurship in general?
entrepreneurship
Like
in
the main
general.
reason.
I mean, if you think about it, at the end of the day, it's like time. Time will tell who's going to persist. If you try drop shipping on a timeline of like 100 years, like you're bound to be successful, right? Versus maybe 2 days,
6 months.
2 days, you're
Yeah.
probably not going to be successful. You're probably not going to make it that even $1,000. At the end of the day, all it is time. And with time comes you need to persist. You need to stay consistent and you need to persist. So I think it comes down to people not persisting with it. And yeah, essentially that's what it is. And with drop shipping in general, they're selling shit that like too many people are selling, and that's been sold like a couple months ago. That like that is already there's already been people that have spent so much. I like to sell a lot of new products that are on the come up and that are like untapped essentially, with little competition. So I don't really sell products that I see like, ooh, there's 10
Yeah.
people selling this and they all have like 1 million views. Let me try to sell this. They're dominating the market. They're spending collectively $100,000 a day on marketing. How are you going to beat them with $50 a day when you're testing? It's just not going to work.
What are your opinions on partnering up with friends on businesses and stuff like that on stores?
Yeah, so I have a YouTube video about this. Personally, not a fan, because I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably on the younger side of things. Like when I was 16, 17, 17, I stopped doing partner businesses because you're young and naive. And let's just say even $1,000. Like I remember me and my friend were fighting over $1,000. Me and the kid from Grand Rapids, Isaiah. Like it's very hard. We're unexperienced with business. We see a big check, or I mean, I guess $1,000 is big, to us at the
Well,
time. Like
yeah, I
we
mean,
see a
like
big check for a
15.
thousand dollars. We're unexperienced. We're naive. We don't really know how business works. It's bound to go downhill. Focus on business yourself and learn skills. Once you're doing everything yourself, which in the long term, it's not the smartest thing to do. You want to outsource. You want to give it to people,
Mhm.
delegate tasks to people who are better than you are, or at it than you are. But in the short term, when you're first starting businesses, you want to just do everything yourself. Make your own videos, make your own product pages, run your own ads, because that way you're going to build up your skill set. Right now, I know how to edit videos. I've been doing it actually probably for like 8 years, 9 years, because I've been like skateboarding and making short edits. But like, I know how to run Facebook ads. I took a new business to zero to $100,000 a month in 2 months, and it's only because I know Facebook ads. And I also know how to create now sales funnels. I know how to create basic email marketing campaigns, digital digital or graphic design. I have all these different skill sets, and that's all because I did this shit by myself. And now I can, like, for ads and stuff, I get the gist of it. I want to give it now to someone who's better than me, get an ad agency. So especially when you're young, build up your skill set. Don't be scared to do everything yourself.
Got it. So I guess now we're just gonna go into like fast-paced type of questions. So I'm gonna ask you one, then you can ask me one if you have one, and then
Yeah,
yeah, I think that should just end it off. We got probably another 15, 20 minutes of it. So yeah.
yeah. Let me know.
All right. So I'll start it off. Who I already asked that one. What do you think the future of e-commerce is gonna go, and how do you see that?
The future of e-commerce, I think e-commerce is actually a big scam and a big facade. If you're a kid listening to this, I would recommend you enroll in your local community college and keep your dreams small, because no, I'm fucking with you. Um, Man, e-commerce, I'm not one of those big people that are like, e-commerce is going to be fucking huge. And I mean, I'm sure it is, but I'm not here to pitch you guys on how to start drop shipping. If anything, I'm trying to get more in the personal brand type of things, and I'm trying to lay off my drop shipping as of now, and I'm trying to scale everything down and move my income to somewhere else. But I think it's going to grow. I mean, obviously e-commerce is growing, and in times like, coronavirus and shit, people aren't going out, sales have only increased, and it's easier, things are becoming faster, easier. It only makes sense. I think everything's growing. Just look at the numbers. Amazon, everything's shutting down. It's just kind of weird. A lot of people are like, I just order shit off of Amazon nowadays. I don't really like go into like Target. I mean, yeah, people still go, but like I wouldn't order, like, if you think
It's
about this, if
shifting.
you needed like a charger or something like that, like
Just order it.
there's actually a high chance that you just ordered off of Amazon versus even 5 years ago when like everything you pretty much got in person. Nowadays you can just order it off of Amazon, or you can just order it off of trendygadgets.co that's selling it for fucking 19.99. Only three left in stock, but you get the idea.
22 hours left till the sale ends.
Yeah.
Do you got a guilty pleasure, like anything you like doing that's like not necessarily good for you, like I don't know, chocolate or some shit like that? I don't know.
Yeah, Mia cut. No, I'm just playing. Chocolate, guilty
I mean, I
pleasure,
don't know
bro.
anything.
Yes, yes, bro. Caffeine, bro. Caffeine,
Caffeine. I mean, the
bangs.
bangs.
I know I
Holy
advocate for them, but bangs,
banger
caffeine,
rain.
caffeine in general, bro. is a bad habit. I can go on why it's so bad for you, but it's like
Why
fucking
you love
crack.
it so
No,
much?
just kidding. Yeah, I mean, we're also young. We can recover our bodies fast from this, but especially as you get older, I mean, even now, essentially what it's doing is it's blocking the things in your brain that's telling you, yo, get rest. You're tired, you're fatigued, all this. You're basically just
Yeah,
flooding it with dopamine. You're flooding it with happiness. You're flooding it with like, yo, you're fully awake, you have energy. Like I drank caffeine earlier today, and maybe that's why I'm so hyper right now. But like, and then the scary thing is once you get off that caffeine, all
you
those, I
crash.
think it's not serotonin or something like that, that like that makes you tired, is like you crash. Like
Yeah,
if I didn't drink that caffeine today, bro, I would be in an overall slump. I would have brain fog, and I wouldn't be in the best state to like get this interview done. But I'd definitely take a nap midday, which scares me because it's like you can't live life normally. I now need it. I once took it to get better, but now I'm taking it to stay normal. I mean, actually, I'm kind of exaggerating it because I'm not fully addicted to it. I probably have it like 2 to 3 times a week, so I'm letting my body recover. But like, if you get in a negative, if you get in like a habit of drinking
bad
it every
habit with
single
it.
day, yeah,
Stop.
there's gonna be
Yeah.
withdrawals, and it's like it fucks you up.
Like I never drink caffeine. Like I mean, I do sometimes, but like when I went to the airport, what was it, a couple days ago? I had to wake
Mhm.
up at like 1 o'clock in the morning to go to take off to the flight. So I cracked the bang open. I was tweaking on the flight. Like I mean, I never
Dude,
drink it, so it's like, dude, I
yeah,
was tweaking cotton candy
yeah,
bang.
yeah,
I was, dude, it was. All
yeah,
right, so
bro.
do you got a question for me, or
Yeah,
do you want
but
me to
to be
ask
honest
another?
though, I get good ideas when I'm off the bang. But do I have questions for you?
Yeah.
Is this your first podcast? Am I the first
No, I
one?
got a couple. No,
Ooh,
I
damn.
got
Okay, I
two
see you. I see
before
you.
you. But I mean, you're
What was
probably
the
the biggest
inspiration?
one, definitely for sure.
What was the inspiration of Journey in the
The
Hills? I mean,
inspiration for what?
obviously, I kind of know Journey to the
Oh,
Hills, but
like the
like,
name?
yeah,
The name of the podcast?
yeah, just tell me
Honestly,
about
I'd
it.
say probably you. Not even gonna lie. Like definitely the whole story of that. I watched the podcast and I was like, this
Yeah,
is the journey. And I just thought about it and I was like, the hills doesn't just have to be Hollywood Hills. It's just the that prestige of where you want to go to, if that makes sense.
exactly, bro. It's like when you say the hills, like people know. It's like the hills.
Yeah.
But where can people find this podcast? Like, is it going to be on YouTube, Spotify,
Everywhere. Yeah, everywhere.
everywhere?
I mean, there's not going to be a video for
Yeah, no,
on
it's okay.
YouTube, but it's just going to be an audio on YouTube. We definitely in the future need to make another one. Uh, Hopefully in person, maybe.
Oh, for
I
sure.
don't
Yeah,
know.
I
See
mean,
how
you're
that
so
goes.
close. You're in
Yeah, I mean,
by
about an hour
Orange
drive,
County,
especially now.
Irvine.
Like it used, yeah, about Irvine, yeah, Irvine area.
Okay, by
I
UCI
mean,
or where at?
a little before UCI.
Okay, you know that Wholesome Choice by UCI or not?
Yeah, gotta, yeah,
Yeah, we'd always
yeah,
go there, bro. Every time I was going to LA with my parents, we'd always go to that Wholesome Choice, and I still go there to this day.
yeah. I mean, it used to be like an hour and a half with LA traffic to get there. Now, dude, it's like under an hour. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Especially now,
Shit.
the
Any other
governor shut down.
questions? You're what, like 16?
Yeah, around there. Yeah, not legal
Around
though.
there.
That's for sure.
How long you
Not
been in the
legal though.
game?
Probably okay. So since over a year now, since like last April.
Okay, I fuck with it, bro. Yeah, keep going. Just
If someone
focus
gave
on
you
the good
100
life.
million,
What's up?
I got a couple more. If someone gave you $100 million, would that lower your ambition level?
For sure, bro. For sure.
Yeah.
It like it shouldn't be
Or would you
my
try to
goal.
multiply
My
it?
goal. I mean, I like to think my goal isn't so like money based. My goal is
Hmm.
more like I wanna I like you called your podcast Journey to the Hills. So it's like if I
Hmm.
gave the hills like such a meaning to someone like you, it's like
Hmm.
it's like that's like my goal. It's my dream. It's like for to inspire the kids. Really, I know it sounds cheesy, but now I'm like I want to inspire kids to have such a high drive that like I had when I was in high school. It's like I'm gonna make it out to the hills. I'm gonna you know make a lot of money while I'm young, even when I'm when I'm older too, and stuff like this. Like have such a high ambition and drive, and like to motivate kids and to feel like they maybe like found themselves or something. Like this is like what they want to do, like a burning passion, and it's just like it's to inspire the kids. So like if and then if I was to just be given $100 million, what's going to be so motivating about that? It's like, yeah,
Exactly.
guys, I have all this money, but like like just work
I'm
hard, like
done.
you know what I mean? Like I'm creating my
Yeah.
story right now just so I can inspire the youth. And obviously I'm on my own grind, and like inspiring the youth comes along with that. So um
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I get it. So do you see yourself ever being content or no? Like, do you always think you're gonna have a strive for something else?
Um it's a good question. I think I don't know if the word would be content, but like I'll definitely be
Satisfied?
like, I'd be like, okay, I'm like definitely like doing what I need to be doing right now. Like that's what it
Got
is.
it.
Not content, but it's like I'm content with, I'm like on my mission. I'm doing what I need to be doing. Like when I'm like 40, 50 years old, even like younger, and I'm inspiring, I'm helping out the youth in bettering themselves into, you know, creating their own businesses and just like, you know, doing what they basically want to do and like dreaming big. And it's like, yeah, I feel good because like even if I have like 10,000, 100,000 kids, a million kids like waking up every day, like grinding before they go to school on their own business or like whatever, um, like I'm on a mission. I'm doing good, you know, I'm doing good.
Yeah. So I saw weird question, but I remember seeing something on Instagram. It was a tattoo on your finger. Did you get a tattoo?
Nah, bro, it's a henna.
It was a henna.
Yeah.
Are you mentoring anyone? Do you offer like mentorship programs and stuff like that?
By the way, I just got a henna because there was something in Venice Beach, but um, what's it called? And my friend just dared me to get one.
Yeah, it was
So
a weekend tattoo,
am I
XO or something
mentoring
like that,
anyone?
right?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say I'm mentoring like
Yeah.
Michael Mason. He's a guy. He's done great for himself. He's like multiple six figures in revenue. But if I say that I was the reason he had all the success, I'd be lying. Maybe initially I gave him a product and I basically told him what to do, and he made like
Mhm.
80K with the first product I gave him in like 54 days. That really helped him out. But like now, when he's had even bigger success, like he's done 300K in 30 days. He did 20K days straight for a week. Like literally think about that, 140K he's done in a week. He made $140,000 in a week. So
It's crazy.
like that's also up to him because he impresses me on how much he learns himself.
He put
I
it
still
in.
advise him and we still talk, but it's like a mutual friendship. Now we're at similar levels, you know?
Mhm.
So he teaches me a lot, I teach him some stuff. And yeah, that other than that, I don't directly mentor anyone right now.
How did the girls change when you moved to LA?
I'll tell you this.
Big
I'll tell you
big
this. I'll tell you
difference?
this. I'll tell you this right now. And this is what a lot of people have that's that's wrong. People think that when you if you aren't making any money and you're not getting any girls, which I
Mhm.
still got some girls and stuff in high school, but I was really focused on my business. I didn't like I basically threw away a lot of opportunities because I didn't even mind. But like people think if you're not getting girls, the answer is getting money. But I know plenty of people um that, and when I say girls, you can like get a girlfriend too or something, and it's like relationships are such a big part of life. It's very important, but making a lot of money is not gonna get you anything. Like it's not gonna get you girls. It's just a skill because at the end of the day, it's like who you are as a person. And I don't think the girls are necessarily gonna start flocking to someone as soon as they get money. It's like who you are as a person. You genuinely just need to be a good person, give people a good time, and not expect anything. If you have money, like you have resources, I guess girls are hypergamous. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, there's certain things that if you're not getting girls, there's certain reasons like why. And if you get money, it's not going to hide those reasons why. So yeah, and you just also want to be careful of like who you're attracting at the end of the day. It's like you if you started making a lot of money, like you did it because most of the time people better themselves. And if people are attracted to you just because you have money, what's the point of betting yourself if you're hanging out with these superficial people? So um yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically it.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve, it's a good question. um Dude, I don't know, bro. My biggest pet peeve, sometimes like shit, I don't really have a pet peeve, bro. I'm just hyped on everything, bro. I'm grateful. I see everything for what it is almost, and like if I have a pet peeve,
Hello?
I don't put myself in
Did
that
it cut
scenario,
out
you know?
again?
I don't
Oh
know. I
my
don't think I have a
god.
pet peeve. I'm pretty chill with you
All
know,
right, so I
what's
guess this
going
is an
on in life.
intermission, guys, because I know you can still
Like
hear me and his
can you hear me?
recording is going to be off. But yeah, this is definitely the podcast.
Fuck.
It's
Yo,
not
bro.
done yet, but I mean, internet's mad bugging, so it might cut out short.
Yo,
Don't
can
know.
you hear me?
Okay, okay, are you back? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
My biggest
I
pet
don't know.
peeve?
We gotta.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes like I'll have like a pet peeve just in very momentarily, but like as I'm doing this podcast and I'm in Turkey in Istanbul, was just in London a couple days ago. It's like, and I'm now, it's like, what, almost 1 a.m. And I'm just sitting here and I'm on this podcast and we're both young entrepreneurs and like life's up to me, dude. That's the thing. I don't need to live by anything's or by anyone's opinions. I'm not boxed in by anything.
It's all
And
on you.
I woke up to reality, and
Exactly.
the reality is we're the master of our own fate. Right now, I can make $1 million a day. It's just up to me. It's not, there's nothing that's stopping me. So it's like, I don't have any pet peeves, dude. There's so many freaking opportunities. There's so many good things to do in life. Like, I don't have any pet peeves, bro. This fucking life's amazing. You know, essentially, like,
Life's amazing.
life's dope, dude. Like, what the fuck? I'm like in Istanbul at 1 a.m. I was just in LA, like at the house in the hills, and I'm only 18. My birthday's next week. About to do a whole bunch of crazy shit. I don't have any pet peeves, bro. Life's been amazing. So, but also,
Definitely. All right.
by the way, wait, real quick before I go,
All right. Well,
in the power of now, a lot of this is like I can get an amazing feeling right now, right? I'm being flooded with dopamine. I probably had a little bit of caffeine earlier today, so I'm kind of hyped. I mean, naturally, I'm just hyped when I talk about my passions and like my love for business and life. But you want to also be careful when you become super hyped like this. Like right now, I should be careful because what I'm doing right now is I'm satisfying my ego. It's like
mhm.
we're on this podcast. I mean, not necessarily my ego, but just like extremely high levels of happiness. Be careful because it's the same thing that puts you in these levels that puts you in extreme lows. So you want to just be like, in times like this, like I got to relax a bit, you know? Life's doing good, but like I need to double down and don't get too hyped. Don't ever get too hyped when you start making a lot of money. And even if you continue making lots of money, don't ever get too hyped on anything, especially that's very like momentary. Like you're listening to good music and you're driving in a Lambo down Sunset Boulevard and it's
Mhm.
sunset, tops down. You don't want to get too hyped because it's the same thing that's, you know, you're satisfying your ego in a sense. So that moment that ego is damaged for whatever reason, it could be a very big low. And thankfully, I don't really go through too many peaks and valleys, but um, it's just for other people and stuff. I read in The Power of Now. It's a great, you know,
I
like little
mean,
thing.
that's just a great way to end the podcast.
Yeah.
Before I stop the recording, don't like click off the podcast. We still gotta say the recording. But anyways, thank you so much for being on this podcast. It was
Got you, G.
amazing. Hopefully, in the future, we can definitely record one in person. Record
I'm
a
so
video
down.
for
I'm
it.
so down. Let's do a follow
Definitely,
up video at my house.
we have to. I'm so down. We'll
Okay.
definitely, in the near future, maybe by the end of this year for sure.
Yeah.
I'll definitely come out to LA and we'll definitely record one.
Of
I
course.
mean,
And
yeah,
by the way, before the podcast ends, I just want to say, me and you, bro, we're still learning, right? So maybe in like a month, 5 years, we look back on this podcast and like, damn, I should have tried in high school or I should have done something like this. Just don't stress right now. Like we're still learning. So we probably said some shit that I said this in
definitely.
Scott's podcast. We probably said some stuff
It's
that's
probably
incorrect that we
stupid.
might disagree with
Yeah,
heavily. But you know, as long as we're still
take
learning, bro,
everything
as
we say
long as
with
we're
a
still
grain of
on our
salt.
grind, on our journey, you know, we're chilling. So
Take everything with a grain of salt. His recording disconnected again. Oh my
cut
god.
out, bro, a
Okay.
little bit.
Yeah, it keeps cutting out. Let's end it. But any last advice? Any like last piece of advice for anyone pursuing entrepreneurship, and then we'll end it off.
Yeah, man. Life's a video game. Have fun with it. Don't stress. Think big, and just be on your grind. Fall in love with the grind. I love the word falling in love with the grind. So just get that inner burning passion. Listen to good music that motivates you, and don't necessarily just listen to the people that are closest to you. So
Definitely.
seek out,
Well,
seek
yeah,
out, seek out higher quality people that are hard for you to come by. It should be a challenge meeting the people you want to hang around with. So
definitely. Well,
yeah.
thank you guys for watching and listening to Journey to the Hills. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Wait, one last thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, no, sorry.
Peace out, guys.
All right, peace.